All right. Welcome, everybody. It's the Snare 17 channel. We got a really special stream here for you late this evening. It is about midnight here on the East Coast, and I finally got some time. Kids in bed, and it's peace and quiet to start getting this build together. I've been off stream for a while now. I haven't really been active all that much doing anything around, and there's been a reason for that. I've been waiting on some new hardware, so I'm pretty excited about it. Showing it some of it to you tonight here. We're pretty much putting together a whole PC, and some of the parts will be not so much. So glad you guys are here, chilling here. We're going to be hanging out. I've got a pretty cool setup here right now. I've got my new stream PC, which is actually sitting right down here. You can't see it, but fear not, it is there. I don't know how you guys can hear this, but anyway, this is kind of a new setup here. It's temporary. This is all just until I'm able to get all this stuff rearranged, because this is actually my new desk. It's one of those electronic ones that raises up and down, and it's flat, as you can see. So I was rather tired of the rounded desk, corner desk that I had before. It wasn't really suiting my needs all that much, and my flight controls and everything, it was starting to be really weird having a yoke, and then the curve in the desk was creating a situation where the throttles were kind of jamming into my leg, and it wasn't very natural. So now I have a flat interface here. I'll have a yoke, throttles whenever I get to that kind of stuff, and it'll be comfortable. So also using a headset tonight because I don't have the Go XLR and the mic set up just yet, and I think this will actually be a much more limber and adaptable setup for what I'm going to be doing tonight anyway. The one trick is I can't actually hear myself talking, so you'll have to excuse any weirdness with the volume, because I can't really hear myself all that well, but I can see the volume meter over on OBS. Might be a little on the low side. There we go. That should be a little better. I don't have compression or anything turned on, so there's no real effects other than just a noise gate put on, just in case somebody goes bump in the night upstairs or something. But here I am. Oh look, we have our first chatter here. Simulator Concierge, good to see you. Spit wanted to see what you're up to. Well, I'm about to do a little PC building. So anyway, this tabletop here is going to be where I have both of my PCs. Now I'm actually sitting on the back of it right now. So this side is eventually going to be pushed up against this wall here, and there will be a main monitor here, another monitor here, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what that one looks like because you'll have to wait and see. But this will not be sitting over here like it's right now. Anyway, I've got some new stuff going on. A really cool effect that I'm pretty excited to tell you about here. And let's see, let's go get it set up here. So here's a new feature to the Snare 17 stream. Whoa! There it is. Let's get that straightened out. Anyway, so we have an overhead camera tonight provided by the iPhone. That's right. So I've got a new setup with I got a new light up here, softbox. This one is not so soft. That's one of the older lights. But anyway, we have for tonight the building stream that I'm going to be doing here. We have the overhead camera, so hopefully that'll help us see stuff. I don't have an ability to zoom it right now at all, so that's going to be might be a little awkward, but I think we'll make do. So cool little feature that I'm going to be providing here tonight, and I don't have my Stream Deck either, so I don't have the push button capability of just being able to switch stuff on and off on the stream like I previously did. Plus you can kind of see almost the entire desk. There's a couple items I've got over here. I've got an iPad sitting right here where I'm monitoring the stream. I can also monitor it over there on the OBS machine right now. It's all pretty simple stuff. I've got a bunch of items here that I'm ready to go. So we've got our iFixit kit here ready to go. So we can start doing some things computer-wise. We've got all sorts of bits and pieces here. Let's see if I can get that up in there so you can see it a little bit better. Look at that, 2 screwdrivers and all sorts of fixins. and whatnot. Simulator Concierge, it's good to have you here, man. Good to see you tonight. So we'll get all that ready, and I guess without further ado, we will start with the first piece of hardware here, yeah? And so this is, pardon me, I jump off stream real quick here. Start with the motherboard. We always start at the beginning, right? This is the most important piece, and if you're not familiar with this, this is something that I'm pretty excited about. This is the Asus. Yeah, well, you can see that. I don't know. I don't know how well you can see. Let me see if I can zoom that in a little bit. You got the Asus ProArt X670E Creator Wi-Fi board. So this is an X670 board, which if you're familiar with these things, and I'm sure some of you guys are, that means that we are going to be battling with this guy right here. And this is the Ryzen 7000 series. This is a Ryzen 9 7950X processor. It's brand new. I have not touched this at all yet. And so that's going to go slap it on in there. And let's see. I'm going to power it also with a couple of these guys here, a couple of Samsung 980 Pro 2TB SSDs. And we've got some DDR5. We got two of these kits here. These are 2x16 gigabytes kits of DDR5. This is the G-Skills Trident Z5 Neo RGB sets. So the Neo is, of course, specially made for the new, basically the XMP files for the Ryzen boards. So this is specifically for Ryzen. Got a little speed boost out of that. And that's pretty much the new stuff that you're going to see here on this system. It's also going to be powered by the same what is it, RTX 3080 Ti from Asus. And so yeah, so that is pretty much what we're going to be doing. I got a new case that we're going to put it in, the Lee & Lee LandCool 3 case, which is sitting right here. So that's going to maybe pop out here at some point. I'm planning on liquid cooling both the CPU and the GPU still, with a little less radiator than what we had before. We had the two PC system before, but now we're just going to have one, as I have a separate, smaller case now for the streamer. It keeps them kind of separate, so I don't have to have both of them at once necessarily anymore. I didn't have that before, but if I wanted to use the gamer before, I had to have the streamer, so that was added set up. So we're not going to be doing that anymore. All right, so Streamer Concierge says, good evening, friend, in for just a bit. Oh, we already said that one. Good to be in for a bit. Also, I built a couple custom PCs, so it's fun to unpack. Oh yeah, it is. It is a lot of fun. So I have some new filming equipment. As you can see, I've got above here, I'm using the iPhone, which is a new thing. I'm kind of setting up to be videos, so I'm not just going to be doing streaming. I'll be doing some actual videos too, but it's not necessarily going to be what you're used to. It's not going to be all flight sim stuff necessarily. So there's going to be some new content, some new stuff that I'm trying out, so you have to bear with me. I'm pretty excited about it though. And so yeah, we've got a couple of things that I get to use with the iPhone. So I've got a big boom here, which I actually had before already. It's just actually a mic stand that's holding this thing up, but it has a big crane. You can't see it, but it's only a couple inches off of the main screen here, and gives us a pretty good overhead look. I guess I could probably stand to zoom that in a little bit more. Let's see if it'll let me do that at all. Now, you know what? It won't. It's not going to. We're not going to worry about that. So let's get this baby opened up here. I've already previously opened this one. The other stuff I have not opened before. So there we go. You guys can all see kind of what's going on here. You open it up, it's very unassuming, but kind of elegant. The black with the gold trim, the kind of highlights there, makes it really nice looking, and the board looks very similar. You're not going to find a bunch of flashy colors or anything like this. In fact, this board has no RGB elements on the actual board. It does have RGB headers, so you can attach RGB-ish things to it, which we have some of, but it doesn't have any color in it otherwise. This is just a spacer box. There is something inside of this. This is the Wi-Fi antenna that goes inside of there. So go ahead and pull the board right on out. It's a heavy board because there is a lot of metal, a lot of heat sink built on this. I am sort of wishing now that I had a good way of zooming this camera in for you. Oh well. Let's change the settings here on my iPad. See this little. All right. The first time I took this thing out, it was really hard to pull out of this because it is a full board. See, it even poked a little hole in the side there. Okay. Put this down right on top of the static bag. Static pouch here. All right, so here it is. It's a huge board, as I've said. I think you can see it on the overhead all right. Looks like you can. A little on the small side, I know that. Wait, I can zoom this. It's not the regular camera app. I'm not gonna, like I said, not gonna mess with it. It's too hard to get a clean HDMI output into a cam link with can't get a clean screen like what we have right now off of the regular camera app in iOS. So anywho, so we've got some elements here that I want to talk about. Obviously the CPU goes here, 4 RAM slots, which is all DDR5 again. That's pretty standard stuff. Got 2 sets of 8-pin CPU power over here, just in case you want to do overclocking or something, which this board is not really a very strong overclocking board. And you can tell by the color of it, it's all black with the gold trim again, so it looks very similar to that box. Not overly assuming, and it's not trying to sell you something like any sort of gaming gear or anything. Picking up some files on the hard drives tonight. All right, well, you're keeping busy. So what else do we have? We've got one. So you can't see this, but under right here, this is an M.2 PCIe 5.0 slot. It actually has 2 of these on the board. There's another one that lays right here. I forget where it is. One of these 2 here. This is not a M.2 slot at all. But there's 3 of them that will actually go under this big piece of metal, this heatsink right here. It has this button right here, which is the coolest thing, I think. It's really be really hard for anybody to see this, but on the keep this kind of over here so you can see it maybe here on the main screen. This is a quick release for the PCIe 5.0 16 times 16 slot here. And so this will make it easier to get your graphics card in and out if you need to for any reason. Of course, I'm not actually going to be using this slot to actually mount the GPU. It'll be vertically mounted alongside, but there will be a riser card that goes inside of there. Another PCIe 5.0 16 times slot, which actually is just only works in 8x8 if you populate both of them. And then there's another, I think this is the times 8 slot. Times 8 speed in a 16 slot. So that's all the that's the only PCI connectivity you have for expansion cards. There are, see this right here, I'm not sure this again. You have your regular 24-pin connector, and there's another 6-port connector, 6-pin connector power right next to it, and also the USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 connector for a front panel here, which the case that I'm going to be using actually does. So this will be USB-C in the front of the case. It has the power here, which provides, I think, like, I don't know, a bajillion watts of power, 1.21 gigawatts. It's kind of funny because I was actually watching that movie a little bit earlier today. So what we're saying here is, I think, let's see. Should know these things. USB, there we go. That's just the one USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 port. Oh, so the front, yeah, the front port has an additional one USB 3.2 by 2 connector. Supports USB Type C, up to 60 watts of power, and it has a quick charge and stuff like that. It does all the quick charge 4 plus, in fact. So that's the latest and greatest. And then there's actually one here on the back panel that actually the back I/O shield that actually does that as well. Has 7 USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, which are Type A. So 7 Type A ports that are 3 Gen 2. Super high power. It has 2 USB 4 ports with Intel controllers, 2 USB Type Cs. So those get up to 40 I think it's 40 gigabits or 40 gigabytes. I'm not sure what it is. Per second in terms of bandwidth. I know there's quite a bit of difference, but so yeah, we got that kind of power here on the board. Well, there's just one USB 2.0 port on the back shield here. Back I/O port. Front USB can do one Gen 2 USB Type C, as I said. It can also has another Gen 1 header. There will be 2 ports for that, 2 Gen 1 USB 3.1 ports as well, and it can has headers for up to 3 USB 2 header ports, or 6 USB if you need. We're not going to be using all of that, so that is actually provided by this little guy right here. Can't see that all that well because, well, it's a 90-degree connector. If you're looking from above, how well you can see this at all, but there's 2 SATA ports right here. The USB 3.2 for the front, excuse me, from the front panel. And there's 2 more SATAs on the board right here on the side. So only 4 SATA ports, but you have 4 M.2 ports as well. So that's why there's only 4 SATAs instead of 6 or more like you'll see on a lot of other boards. Not a gaming board again, so this is really flash. You don't want a whole lot of hard disks attached to this necessarily for creator stuff. RGB, you got your regular RGB, the 5-volt and a 12-volt, so a 4. And you have your one addressable port, one non-addressable, and then there's 2 more addressable RGB headers down here on the bottom also, as well as 1, 2, 3 headers for USB 2.0, which goes toward 6 that you're going to find on the front header, the front panel, and there's your other front panel connectors right here. Now this is really cool. It's your usual power, your all that stuff. This actually has a single connector, like a jumper almost. It has a single little piece that you fit that goes over all of these pins, which you will plug all your front panel stuff into first. So you plug it all. You don't have to have it right down on the board. Struggle inside of the case to kind of find this. You can plug them all into the one piece first, and then just plug that whole piece with all the front panel connectors in all at once. So that's pretty neat. Let's see, anything else really? Lots of case fans. There's you have all-in-one. I'll make sure I get them in the right order. Yeah, CPU fan, CPU optional headers, and an AIO pump header. There are 2 chassis fans right in here next to the GPU. Chassis fan back here next USB 3.0 front header, front panel headers. There's a chassis fan header down here, and 1 more chassis fan header right here next to the assignable, addressable RGB headers down there as well. So lots of good stuff. It's got really good sound. It's got, of course, Wi-Fi 6E on the back of the board. There's a USB, so this is a pretty cool thing that they do here. There's an HDMI out, and remember the 7000 series Ryzen processors are all GPU integrated now too. They have an integrated GPU, so you will be able to get video off of this right off the motherboard. HDMI too, separate graphics card. This is a DisplayPort in port. It's not an out port. Then you got it right here. So you got HDMI, and then there's a DisplayPort in port, because this is what they figure you'll do. There's two USB 4 ports here, which are 40, I think it's gigabit per second. That was the one I was going to look up, isn't it? Back ports say here. Oh, it doesn't give me a rating. Just love that. Okay. USB 4 ports are up to gigabit per second. 40 gigabit per second ports. What you can do with these is you can use one of them to power a display. Not power per se, but to feed the display. So you would take your a display port out from your graphics card, plug it into the display port in, and then through the motherboard plug in to this USB 4 USB-C slot here, which would then go and to send the display to your really high-powered 4K, 8K type displays. 40 gigabits per second. It's pretty awesome. So the cool thing about this motherboard you don't see on every motherboard necessarily is every single one of these USB port types has a speed rating next to it, so you know exactly which ones you're working with. All the green ones here, you see a whole lot of green I/O. That you can see a whole lot of green. All of these green ones are 10 gigabits per second, and there's a 20 gigabit per second USB port right here, and the two 40 gigabit per second USB ports are right there. And then we have a BIOS flash USB slot and a BIOS flashback button. Standard mic in, line out, line in there. Nothing too fancy with the sound card outputs or any sort of surround system or anything. So one thing that is very new to the Ryzen AM5 chip is it is now an LGA type chip. So you will find all the pins CPU, all of them there on the motherboard. Pins, those felt like pins. Yeah, so all the pins for the chip are actually right on the motherboard now. They're no longer on the processor. So you got to be careful when you're working with this. Make sure you don't bend any of those advertise. Same mounting system as before, and actually I want to check one thing because I want to look at this because I have a little bit of an issue. Right, oh, ran out of music, didn't we? Can't have that. I'll be right back. Sorry, I unprofessionally walked in front of the camera there. Don't have a whole lot of room in this room to maneuver right now. I'm not showing you the rest of the room because it is a giant mess. Anyway, this is the old water block off of the AM4 board that I was using before. This is actually off the B550 board, so I just want to check the fitting, make sure all those holes are in the same spot, and they are. So we will be removing the stock. This has to be cleaned up still. It still has a bunch of that thermal compound on it, so we have stuff here from iFixit to remove all of that and clean it up real nice. But so I'll have to remove these little tension brackets, tension holders right here, which is fine. One of the cool things about the AM5 style boards now is while they have a different LGA pin number and everything like that, they're LGA now. They've put all the pins on the motherboard instead of on the processor. Like they changed that kind of stuff and changed the architecture quite a bit. It's still the same mounting system for coolers. So your old coolers for AM4, AM3 are still supposed to work on AM5. So that's what we're going to be trying out because I had a little bit of a kerfuffle. Well, I guess you could say it's a kerfuffle, but I have ordered a new water block from EK for the processor. That's going to be real nice and actually kind of fills this whole slot up really well. But it was supposed to have been here on Friday, but I got an email over the weekend saying everything's a little bit behind. Now it looks like it's not going to be here until the middle of November. So about 3 weeks away till we get that piece. So I'm going to have to make do and just stick with the Fantex blocks that I've been using, which isn't too bad. I've had zero problems with them. I just wanted to make sure all the measurements are supposed to be the same and everything. So this is a temporary fix. I'm not going to be using this long term. All right, that's enough talk. Let's get right to the process of doing what we must do. I think we're going to slide this over to the side here. I want to get this cleaned up before I really start digging in. iFixit kit here. This kit that I got for Christmas actually last year. Thank you to Santa Claus. Actually comes with a nice thermal compound kit. Comes with this. It's called Arctic Clean. There's a thermal material remover bottle and a thermal surface purifier. So you remove the stuff there, you clean it off with this one, and it's very citrus based. It has a strong citrus smell to it. Let's see, there's a couple little tools and whatnot for chipping away the excess. Some spreader cards, which are pretty cool. I've got this Gillette GC Extreme stuff, ultimate heat conductivity, non-electrical conductive. It is very highly rated. Guess we'll try to use that. Got one of these anti-static wrist straps, but I don't really have a good spot to plug it into right now, so we're not going to be doing that. Hopefully I don't kill myself. Anyway, there's a couple of little tools that are supposed to be really helpful here. Have here, this is the leftover Arctic Silver stuff that came with this. Arctic Silver 5. High density. Whatever. So, I'm going to get to trying to clean this thing up. Synthetic smells, yep. Right, so we'll get to the removal part. This is super easy to do. I've got a microfiber cloth here to help with this, but just a couple of drops of this stuff. Really all you need. Whew, that smell. Let's give it one more drop. Emulsifies and removes thermal compounds and pads. See instruction on back. Keep away from children. So saturate the thermal pad or compound with several drops and wait 30 to 60 seconds. Gently wipe to completely remove the thermal material if necessary. I'm going to spread this. Get it all. I've used this before, so it's not my first time, but... And then we follow it up later with the thermal surface purifier to prepare surface for thermal interface material. See instructions on back. Keep away from children. Thermal material remover to remove any... So use Arctic Clean 1 thermal material remover. Yeah, we already did that. Remove any thermal pad or compound prior to using this product. Repeat if necessary. Apply several drops to the thermal mating surface and wipe gently with a lint-free cloth to dry. This is free as we get, I think, here. So we're just waiting the required amount of segundos here to wipe this baby clean. Scratching? No, it's just... How long is this going to take me? I will probably be here for hours. This build is going to take a little while, but it's really going to be working with the case that's going to take the most amount of time. Try to get in there and get the liquid cooling done tonight too. I've got all the fittings set aside here somewhere, and I've got some fresh tubing that we're going to put in. So that will not take too long. I've got to actually get the pump. I've just remembered I have to get the pump out of the old case still. Ugh, that's a pain. And the radiator and the fans and everything are already connected up. They're ready to go in there. I've actually already opened the case. So I put it all back as if it was brand new, basically. But I've already put the power supply in there, so it's going to be a little heavier than. But here we go. Let's wipe all this off. See, there's still quite a bit of it, but it sort of liquefied and it's really spread out. That is gone. So we're going to do another pass here. Stuff works wonders. Yeah, this is really cutting right through that thermal compound. Let it spread a bit. Second pass pretty much did the trick. Looking good. All right. I don't have to let this sit for any amount of time like I did the last set. Actually, there's a little bit of etching here. That previous CPU was. Right, so the goal here is to not destroy my CPU water block, because I'm hoping that in 3 weeks I'll get to put a different better one meant for AM5. Not that it makes that much of a difference. I think it's supposed to fit with the motherboard better, if anything, if nothing else. Alright, so we just quick wipe here. That has prepared. Oh, that's a nice shine. It's got back to it now. Alright, so our water block is ready. We'll set that aside over here. Don't need that any longer. Should not need these anymore. Put this back in our little pouch. We gotta leave this here because we're gonna do that in a second. Okay, let's go to work on the motherboard, getting this ready. Oh, guess we deleted our comment. Okay, so these are some somewhat large screws. I'm gonna get the big baby out, the big daddy out here. I have a hard time figuring out exactly which fittings to use a lot of times. Which bits to use. It's a little. Let's go to this guy up here. That seems the purpose one I like to use the most. There it is. That's perfect. Okay. Go in and remove anchors here. This is a pretty standard way of building PC boards, starting with the CPU first. So you get the motherboard out. You want to prep the motherboard before you put it in the case, because it's much harder to do it once it's in the case. I've done it. I've done it in the past. This is really easy on these boards, because all you have to do is just 2 screws for each of these anchors and you're done. That's all there is to it. It's much easier than I don't have a back plate that I need to replace. In fact, if you look, the back plate here, nice metal. It's already comes. AMD boards always come with like a metal back plate. They're not made of plastic or anything like you might see on an Intel board. Let me take a second and grab the screws here for the water block. I forgot to get those. All right. Sorry about that. I'm back. Just wanted to make sure I was looking at some other things too for our setup here, and it's actually fit in the screw slots. They're too big, and that would be pain. Oh, don't tell me I have to. That would be a real problem. Okay. Fit here. Get on in there. There we go. Ah, well, this is awkward. I don't know how this has happened, but screws are a different size. Yeah, that's definitely a smaller screw. Huh. That's a dirty trick. They said that these things were supposed to work still. Let's see what the internet says about this. Let's go look at the Fantex website here. There's different standards that go in there. Okay. There's little standards that I am supposed to screw into those to help elevate. Hoping that's what it is. If that's the case, I can just take them right off the old board. Text. So I was just looking at the kit on Amazon actually that I had before. It's funny because these blocks are the same block is going for 40 bucks now. It's 50% off. And that's all because they're not making these anymore. Okay, so Antex X. Baby boy is not happy. Opening the manual. Oh, so there is a back plate. Yeah. 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 Backplate is a... The CPU is attached to the backplate now. The connector socket here is attached to the backplate. I can't... How I'm gonna do that? Son of a gun. Well, different mounting screws in this kit. Let me see if I still have it. this has been great content, and for that I apologize, but we've run into a major snag. The standards here on this board are of the screw holes are smaller, but our screws are, and I have not been able to locate the other screws. So I'm not even 100% sure that they even come with them, but the package contents of these things says 115X mounting screws. I think are these, but I can't be 100%. Different size mounting screw also. It comes with two different types of mounting screws. And I cannot locate the other. Trying, can't find them. Oh, your iPhone battery or my iPhone battery? Oh, look at that. It is low. Oh. Get into that. Whoop. This thing right up. Properly. Well, we should not have that problem anymore, but thanks for bringing that up. Even have it on battery mode. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna try one more thing. Hang on. Not sure if this is going to be the answer in the end, but this is actually a little baggie that comes with the CPU box. Well, they're not even all here. This isn't same ones. Yeah. No, wait. Yeah, look the same to me. Alright, utter failure has been obtained. That work? Let's have a look. At least got the standards, so that's something. why this is right. These are way too high. Other set of screws. Maybe they're on that other board. You know what? This might work. Shall we give it a try? Well, let's give this a go, I guess. Well, here goes nothing. Just happen to have the right amount of bits and bobs, I guess, to get us to a point. Try to do this, but I am not optimistic here. Now, what are these? Same thing. Right? These look longer. They are not. Okay, well, first things first. Out of the way. Did they break the seal on this baby? Oh, I love how it just falls right open. So nice. It's magnetic. It's just sitting right there waiting on us. Oh, there it is. I sincerely doubt it, but we'll see if it comes with any other sort of hardware in it. Shouldn't be anything else in this box. There's not, it's just a big old block of foam. Yeah, that was pretty low percentage. Just hope in this process I don't damage the heck out of this. Okay, so we're going to open up the door here. Chin arm. Pop out the little plastic piece. Expose this too much. There we go. Off goes the plastic piece. Thing up. Looking for... one of these is supposed to have kind of notch on it. I don't necessarily... oh, there's that little triangle right there. That's the one we're looking for. corner with the triangle on it. You can see it on both sides. This is just a simple matter of popping it right in. Piece of cake. Now, I forget who it was. I think it's a ton of tension. Oh, it was Noctua, I think. Yeah, Noctua has a little spacer bracket. That little spacer piece of plastic that goes in around this weird shape, because I think when you're applying thermal compound, if it spreads too much, it gets down in these little cracks, and then you could actually kind of damage these things. But they must have thought of that. There's no way they would let it out without that thing if it was really that big of an issue. Alright, tons of tension on there. Now, just for fit's sake, try to get an idea of the fit. We've got to see if that is going to come close to contacting. Oh yeah, it's sitting right on top of it. I think we're good to go here, guys. Alright, this stuff is supposed to be the best of the best in terms of GC Extreme from Gelid. It's supposed to be the best of the best in terms of cooling, but we'll see about that. Just go with the P method. That's way too much, but you know what? It'll get the job done. Don't have to be super fancy with this because it spreads. It's going to be under a ton of pressure. Okay. That's the right fitting. I really am sorry, guys. We threw off the timing. Alright, Simulator Concierge, time for you to head out. God bless you, and wishing you a very successful build until next time. And Lord be with you. Same to you, sir. God bless, and we will see you soon. I'm going to carry on here and hope that this minor snag is not critical or fatal, really, to this whole build. Could be stopped in our tracks before we even get started here. Goodness, I had these standoffs. I don't know. This is feeling tense. Too much tension on. Added a little bit of cracking in the water block, the acrylic there to whatever this is. Fracturing. A little too much tension on it at this point. Definitely contacting that processor. Okay, I think this will work. I have to hope and pray that this works. Okay, moving on. So we got the CPU and the water block installed. You can see there's a little fracturing in there. And tiny scratches, not that big of an issue. It's on the outside, actually. Okay. This is something I absolutely have to save. In case a return is necessary, or try to sell it at some point. It's always good to have these things intact. Everybody thinks I'm crazy when I have a bunch of boxes of these things sitting around. Right. Next step. I want to go ahead and start removing a couple of these. Let's see, should I go back into the... Gotta get those M.2 drives out of that other board. I guess I don't absolutely have to do that. Start afresh. Alright, Samsung, you guys made these things really hard to open. Going to the easy side. I assume they did that on purpose. Alright, there's one. I wish I could say that these were speed rating of the board, but as of current, no such M.2 drives exist. There's no PCIe 5 M.2 drives. So PCIe 4 drives will have to do, which is kind of funny because, to be honest, we have not even hardly saturated the full speed and output of PCIe 3.0, and here we are messing around with 5.0 stuff now. So these screws for these heatsinks I think are made to not come out all the way. I'm sure they will not thread all the way out. I think they just spin after some point, so the heatsink comes off, and yeah, these screws do not come out. So they stick in there, which is super helpful. And so there's actually two thermal pads on this now. There's a lower thermal pad with the heatsink on the bottom and a thermal pad on the top, which I'm assuming is going to be for PCI 5.0 cards media, but I don't actually have one of those. So what I'm going to do, I almost wonder if I should skip this and just do the ones off the chipset. Yeah, let's do that. Not going to utilize these today. Interest of future expandability, I'm gonna punt on this one. Oops. Well, that explains it. Put it in the wrong way. The writing was upside down. Okay. A lot of tension on these since they actually don't have a drive underneath now. Alright, so that's in. And we come over to this one. So how you can tell you got sort of a more premium board. It's just when the screws don't come out. I'm not joking either. It's quick connect hardware on these things too, so this has definitely been built to easier to work with. Harder to lose stuff. Shield comes right off. 3 thermal pads on the back here. Get to remove them, it says. Alright, so 3 M.2 slots. Already got little rubber stops down there. little quick connecting hardware there. M.2 socket. See the length that they offer on some of these are very, very massive hard drives. Or I don't know what else you would put in something that long, but maybe eventually the hard drives will start being that long. Socket 2. Try to put these in the right ones. Okay. To the manual. All right. Interesting. I sure don't see a manual here. September 19th for all the drivers. No updates yet. Armory crate was updated on the 30th September. BIOS the 11th of this month already. Huh. BIOS update, just like that. Manual and document. Well, I'm sure not seeing a manual here. Oh, the new board woes. Well, here's a look. Oh, look, it actually came with one. I was worried that it didn't, because a lot of these things don't come with them anymore. They get to the point where if you want a manual, you've got it gives you a QR code. So on one of your mobile devices, you just go and you download it. Okay. All I need is a diagram. In fact, I think they usually provide them right on the website. I could have probably found it already. Okay, let's see. B. Shared bandwidth. If you have an M.2 in this one, then you only get ×2 speed out of this lane. Or like if you, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, PCIe X16.3 shares bandwidth with M.2.3. So please adjust BIOS setting to enable it. This one's in operation. After adjusting the BIOS setting, this will run at PCIe ×2 mode. Okay, well I'm not going to put it in there. That was easy. About 2 slots, 1-11. All right. The 5.0s are slot 2 and slot 1. So they're all run off of the CPU. 3 and 4 are, say, 4.0. Got RAID capability. That's pretty cool. So we're gonna go off the chipset or off the CPU here. Let's that heat sink up. This one comes off of the CPU. But these two come off the CPU. These two come off of the chipset. C and D. Yeah. Oh, I love these things. They make this job really easy. This is all like noob builder friendly. Have a little latch you gotta turn to lock it into place. Go, no screws required. Two 980 Pro 2 terabytes, right, sitting right on in there. See, I haven't quite decided yet what exactly configuration in the long run I want to have with all the storage for this board. So the fact that I have these 4 ports and I only have 2 drives, I don't need 2 right now. But this will probably be great eventually. Need an OS programs drive that is 2 terabytes. One terabyte at max, I think. So, and I have a 180, oh sorry, a 1 terabyte 980 Pro I can put in as the OS drive. And that should be, it's probably touching the CPU. Just don't want to bust the syncs up for 5.0. Alright, not putting attention on. Okay. Sorry, I had that screen up the whole time. Oh, we got the two M.2 drives down here off the chipset currently. Not populating any of the ones that are attached to the CPU because those are both 5.0s and I don't have anything that needs that speed at the moment. Give the CPU a little bit of a break. I don't know if that's a wise decision or not. Passively cool chipset, hopefully destroy everything. Alright. I guess we're on to memory now. I'm fading here. The easy stuff. Install the easy part. Memories, sweet memories. That in the motherboard box. Yeah, so actually, I/O door. Eventually, I was thinking about using a GoPro for this eventually. Quite ready for that. As much as I should have been. Okay. Guess now. Sorry, I don't have a whole lot of variation on this. How long have we been going on for here? Oh, just an hour and 40 minutes? Okay. Gosh, sorry guys, we're not... If anybody's still watching, we're a saint. Oh, these are more of a razor's edge type of look now. Standards. We'll enter these from one side. Side though. Red and Z. Red and Z5 Neo RGB. Neo means it's for AMD M5 specifically. Actually, another item that I was worried gonna quite be ready in time. So I think the delivery of these were delayed by a day or two also. EK is really what let me down. I've never really purchased a water block from EK before. Just use these Fantex ones. Fantex ones are nice looking. The EK ones are nice too, obviously. They're very popular. Expensive. Really expensive. I was getting my first one and hey, it's delayed 3 weeks. What you want? And these are nice. Popped it in all the way. The latch should shut itself. Shouldn't have to push it in. 4 latches closed. Pieces of RGB memory installed. Alright, so for now, we're done with this. The motherboard. Which means it's time to start thinking about getting stuff into a case. Which means first I have to think about getting stuff out of a case. So we gotta get the pump out. Alright, so all 4 of those done. It's back. The box for this is really unassuming. There's going on. There's an extra quick on and off standard for the. There's that. So it's standard twos. The upper riser thing. Very simple. Not a whole lot of fluff. So if you data cords. That's it. Not a lot of fluff. Just things that say, hey, register this and get your ROG rewards and all that stuff. No, we're doing. This is not gear here. So you get a lot of that stuff. And with good reason. Really want all that stuff with this board anyway. All right, so okay. I'm gonna close this up for now. Oh boy. Ah, a little bit of water. Wet the whistle. Let's get all these items back in the bag. Because I am a massive tower to the desk. That is before I bring a slightly less massive tower to the desk. Ah. Here, quick access. Any long. Right, right back with the tower. Oh man, this thing was huge. As she said. So I still have the ITX in here. Guess I can pull that out and yeah, we should do that. Should get that step done while I can. Looking from the top is not going to solve anything for anybody, I don't think. Let's get that turned off here. Alright, so basically just going to go in. I only was able to do 3 screws out of the 4 on this because the bottom left one here was at such a harsh angle. Couldn't get to it with anything. This board will be sold on eBay. Along with the processor. Processors of 590X. Not a 590, sorry, a 5900X. Ryzen 9. Alright, all the IOs out. Okay. Something I can rest this on. Alright, X570 board. Rockstrix X570 Gaming. Huh. Looks like someone had to do the exact same operation with this board. Touch any of the stuff that comes in. Ugh. Extra paraphernalia I was talking about that you didn't get with this Pro Creator board is this. Time to gear up. Cable mod. CDs. DVD. Get all that stuff. The Pro Art ones. Part number. Did come with a ruler. Yep. So there's Pro Art. Got to collect them all, right? Okay. Pretty well. Okay. I'm more satisfied now with of that compartment. So then we can, it's over here. Okay, so the standards did just go right into the slots on the board. Okay, so I think I installed it correctly. All right. Pain of this board that the M.2 is actually located underneath a big old heat sink, which is, I mean, these things are got some real height to them because they have to pack all the features onto this tiny ITX form factor board. Said than done. These things are getting taller and taller the more they try to stick in these. So this is goodness, the thick screws do come out. So these screws go down in there. Oh, thermal padding intact. All right. Oh, so I didn't. 980. Western Digital Black 8 SNA terabyte. Swore I had a 980 Pro somewhere. Silly that I didn't. I don't know where it is. It's a little RGB element on top of this heatsink. Got little plugs that have to go in just right, or else it busts. Screw. Difficult. Touch the compound crease. There we go. Just close them up. Something in there. All right, that one drive removed. This is a effect. L660p. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, we're back. Anyway, moving on. So we've got these cool little cases that come with Fantex boards. Put a lot of the extra stuff that's there. Wireless mouse, which has not seen service for a little while now. Anywho's, a lot of miscellaneous parts in this that are going to have to get removed and repurposed for 120 Noctua fans. Be nice in the new system, actually. Actually, I don't need more. Stay here, and I'll have to fill in the top 3 and then put that one back up there that I had. Air style. I think I have that many. Right. 300. Yeah, because I had all Noctua fans in this case for. I went and got the Corsairs to RGB it up a little bit. Okay. Cabling. This is a little dusty in here. Here. Gonna need here anymore. Server. Excited. The server not be on water. Need to be. Case. Did not mention any. Actually called the drain. No front port like there is on this. Ian Lee top port. Called it the drain port. And at the top of the PC, unless you flip the whole thing over. That. Silly. Okay. Table. Desk. Bonk. Okay. This chassis is getting empty time. Because it's too big. Nice idea while it lasted. Right, let me pull this down. Loose. And it's time to get into the new case. kind of. Because without them, I'm not sure what I will affix the pump with case. Fell down in here somewhere. All right. Alright, so now, organic case. Slightly less gigantic case. Glass panel sides, I don't. Silly. Top cover. Here. Screws that doesn't come off. Goodness. Top covers off. Pretty standard. Come on and off. Pretty standard. Side mesh panels. See it? X has the capability of powering 2 separate systems, but we will not be doing. Sorts of. All right. So I don't. Page. Cable covers, which you can see on this side. I've messed this up a couple times. Oops. Lots of cable management here. A bunch of drive caddies. Drive cage down here with a little hot tray that you can put on top of it. So I'm not going to use those really. Oh well. So now rear eye cable panel covers flat. Now this case came with 4 fans already installed even. State of disarray our cameras in. Oh, it's still in a good spot. Got 1, 2, 3 140 miller fans in the front, back. So all I need to do is 3 there on the top. Done. That part. All right. It's the rad in this is it sits way up. All right, motherboard. Installation. On the right spot already. It looks. Something every time we do this. It's good. Pardon my. This is a case. Space for all these. It's like the fan. Nice. Got to be up. Guess not. Okay. Lock the camera here with the head. Screwdriver. Gotta love them. Have any? That number on your Christmas list. Quite all things. Screws it. Says. So we get this in there. Out the kit. Brackets has not like the X where is removed. It's not in this car. Case that is. There's some support. Kit that this case it was made cases. But said to get which is a way to go. Okay. Felt like 9. This piece right here extended ATX board. We'll leave cables through. Okay, so motherboard is in. Again. Never. Out it comes. Okay. Got their case. So down here. SD SATA asset. Slide the side there. Radiator and cool. this through. Can put top of it. Would be a little on the silly side. Right here on the side. Maybe. Guide. This is for a bit. Let's turn that so y'all can see it.